Good day. One Piece in the year 2025 is, I guess, what I'm roughly gonna talk about today. Like, it's the last day of the year, it's the last video of the year for me. And usually I have like an idea what I'm gonna talk about in these. Like, I have something I wanna talk about and I make a video about it. That's what this is here. But today is a bit different. I'm just already out here and I was like, kind of want to make a last video for the year. Kind of want to look back at One Piece. So we had a lot of flashback piece this year. And that's what the second half of the year was all about, and it was greatness. It was greatness. And I still want to go over all of God Valley as like a separate part from the part with Loki and Harold. Just go over God Valley and go over all this and make a video about it. But still, God Valley was a huge part of this year, and Rock's DC back. How could we forget about him? The greatest character of all time. No, not really, but Rock's is great. Like, we had expectations and things, like everyone has those in their own head, how they see characters. And Rock's was like, okay, before we learned more about Rock's, like Rock's is Teach's father. Okay, we know Teach. Teach is a right bastard. He's a really scummy guy, as far as we know. Maybe that's also a misconception, but I doubt it. Teach is a bit of a bastard. And so we expected Rock's to be very similar to that, because that's his father. And he was framed like that by the world government, like, this was this terrible pirate crew. And to be fair, it kind of was. It also kind of was. Like, Rock's wasn't like your fluffy, puffy pirate that's just here out being free and on the sea and doing his own thing. Nah, Rock's did kill people. He was a pirate, alright. But he wasn't as black and white either. Like, he wasn't just that. Rock's also was a family man in the end. And he wasn't like 100% just see crazy. He wasn't just this crazy man going out of his way to like terrorize people. Going out of his way to do harm. Yes, he was plundering, stealing treasure here and there. But even when he was like stealing treasure from like, we had this one chapter, where he stole treasure from like charity organization. And he stole treasure of them. And it's a charity organization, but this charity organization wasn't like helping anyone, they were just enriching themselves. They were bad guys, and Rock stole the money from the other bad guys. So did he only do that? I don't know. He might have plundered one or two towns, and their pirate island ain't a cozy paradise for a family. He himself said as much himself. Like, he didn't want his son and wife to be on Pirate Island. He was like, this is not a place for a child and kid, really. So, but that also shows he ain't crazy. He knew this, like, this is not a place for wife and kid. I can't bring them here. Let's have them in a nicer place, in God Valley. Really, really great character, and we did only see a glimpse of him. Like, this is still very vague. Like, I can't say for sure that Rock's didn't pillage villages and burn them down and robbing the poor. But of what I've seen, he was much more of a like neutral or good character than expected. like much more of a Whitebeard-esque pirate character than a Big Mom or Kaido even. Like even, yeah, Kaido wanted to have the next Troy Boy defeat him, but for Troy Boy to defeat him, he became this villain. Like he did terrible things to Wano. He did terrible, terrible things. And yeah, Rocks, yeah, I don't really have any terrible things Rocks has done on my list after this year, after seeing so much of Rocks. I only see him like saving slaves and other people, punishing like people that take money that's meant for charity and enriching themselves. That's what Rocks did. And yeah, but I'm getting widely off topic as so often. Looking back of the year and looking back at One Piece, yeah, it's been the year, the entry of Wano. We had, I'm not quite certain how much egghead we still had in the year. I think we still had some egghead. So yeah, we had the Gorosei. In the anime, we just finished the anime. The first season of One Piece is finally done. The longest season in anime history, season 1 is finished. And we're going on to a break. And the break is right after Egghead. So that's where the anime is stopping off and taking a break for the manga to be able to build up some material to have higher quality anime episodes. I'm really happy about that, to be honest, because it might want me to go back and watch some more anime. I've been for years now only reading the manga, and maybe once in a while if I see about like a really good animated fight, like I maybe go and watch the fight, but I don't watch all the episodes. Yeah. So, end of Egghead, the big flood, Emu, the big threat forming basically has been this year. It's like Emu has been fleshed out as a villain more and more, and I think it's a good thing. It's a great thing, and things are getting more and more grey. Like, is Blackbeard still gonna be the final villain? Maybe Blackbeard will still maybe be the final villain. I still think the Blackbeard versus Striped Pirates thing has to happen, or are we gonna have a team up between Blackbeard and Luffy to overcome this greater evil that is Emo? Like, yeah, Blackbeard might be a pretty bad guy, but he's just a guy, isn't he? And he has a grudge against Emo for sure, for killing his father. So there's that. Yeah, we have reason. We have the backstory of Blackbeard. We have a reason for him being the way he is. Like, he was 3 years old at God Valley. He saw all these things and he remembers. He saw unspeakable evil at a very young age. And his mother survived with him, so he wasn't an orphan at that point in the story. Is he an orphan at all? Is Aerith still alive to the present day? Maybe. Maybe he lied to Whitebeard that he was an orphan to be able to be part of his crew, to get on the ship. It's like, yeah, very possible. Like, am I gonna put it past a young Blackbeard to be a liar? Oh no, he said he's an orphan to Whitebeard, so he must be an orphan. That must be true, right? Nah, this is Blackbeard. He might have lied. Guys, he might have lied. Crazy story. Evil guy lies? Oh no. Yeah. So Aerith might still be alive or might have died. Either of the two works. But actually the one where she is still alive is a bit more interesting, because she might be pulling some strings in the background, because we learned at the very least that Aerith had a very clear plan, very clear image of the plan of Rox, not Teach, because she said to him, "You were not ready. You weren't ready yet." So she knew he didn't have the 2 devil fruits he needed yet. He didn't have what he needed yet to go up against evil. He wasn't ready yet, but he did for his family. And yeah. So she knew about the plan. So if she's not alive anymore, I at least want her to like pass on some knowledge to Teach at an age where he's a bit older already. Like pass on the plan of his father to Teach. Like Teach is a schemer. He is playing the long game, very much so. So him having like this generational plan passed on from his father would make a lot of sense to me. Like, okay, maybe it's not all his plan. Maybe it's partly plan of his father. People were even on the side, like, oh, maybe like because Teach has a special body, and Marco said that, and Luffy and Zoro said that it's not him, it's them. So maybe Rock's soul is in Teach's body. I don't think that theory has a case anymore. After we saw Rox die at God Valley, pretty sure he died. Like 99%. The 1% is still there. It's never for certain in One Piece if someone died. Like maybe you get blown up by a giant bomb as a big bird and you're not dead. Yeah, that might happen. But yeah, I don't think that theory has a lot of ground to stand on anymore. What else was in this year? Elbaf, the beginning of Elbaf. Let's go back to the beginning of Elbaf. We had the beginning before the beginning of Elbaf with the part in the Lego Castle, and I really enjoyed that. Like some people say, oh, it's so goofy, it's so silly, it's not what One Piece is about. Like, is it epic? No. Is it like these epic stories like the things we had with Rox? Is it compared to that? No. But it's just the crew being the crew and being together with each other in a place and being silly and goofy and having like a silly and goofy adventure. It's like a relief between the heavy themes and everything. It's like, hey, we have just the crew being together and we don't have that very much anymore. And I'm glad Oda took his time in between to go over that. I'm very glad about that. He took his time out for that. And yeah, it was fun. It's not... I'm not gonna go looking back at this and say, oh, this was the best piece of One Piece in this year. But I don't want to miss it out of the year. Like, I don't want it removed only because the other stuff is more epic or more interesting and there's more to theorize about. Only because that doesn't mean I don't want these parts of silliness, of goofiness, of goofing around between the crew anymore in One Piece. And I'm glad we had that. So right after that, the crew breaks out of the castle and go over this giant bridge where the giant warrior pirates, and they avoid them. And Luffy senses something, and he senses Loki, and he goes down to the frozen realm to Loki. And yeah, and he just talks to him, and immediately Luffy senses, hey, this is not a bad guy. Loki is playing this rough and tough bad guy. But Luffy's like, nah, you're not that. You're a good guy. Luffy knows immediately. Crazy shit, man. Crazy shit. And yeah, he goes and it's like, yeah, I'm gonna goes and talks to Loki, and it's like, yeah, why you've chained up here? You're not a bad guy. And Loki's like, go and free me then. And Luffy's like, okay, I'm gonna free you. And yeah. We had introductions to the owl library, the children and everything, and like even after the flashback, how the last chapter ended is like Harold being like, preserve what I created to Loki. And the last image is an image of the children playing together. And it's something that Ida said to Harold that is nice, like how he changed Elbaf. Like that when she came to Elbaf initially, it was like a scary place and just warriors and rough and tough. And now you have children playing out in the open and going to school and learning. And that's something Harold created, and that's something Loki is gonna try and preserve, I guess, in the future. But yeah, that's something also we are just shown in the very beginning of Elbaf here. We are shown this, like we're shown the school, the owl library, the kids. We're being told, it's not all about being warriors anymore. It's like we're teaching our kids like important things. They learn to read and other things before they learn to fight. Like, and there's still some kids like Gaban's son. They're a bit on the rough and tumble side, but he's also going to school. He's also learning. It's not like one can't be without the other. That's where Ida told Harold, like, yeah, I like the warrior pride. I think that's a good thing. So I think still they are being warriors in Elbaf. And them still existing is a good part, but also progressing. That the children have an easier future and an easier present. And that's what was very important to her. And we're being shown that very clearly at the start of Elbaf, with the big focus on the school, on the kids. And then come the fucking gods, right? Mess it up all up and attacking exactly that what Loki was supposed to protect by the words of his father. He was supposed to protect these children, the future of them, what he built there for them. And the Gods Knights come in and mess it all up. They come in from outside, the world government comes in. It's like, yeah, you have a nice thing here going for you, but you're not part of us, so that can't, that can't be allowed. So yeah, they are not good guys. The world government are not good guys at all, and this is very clear to us as readers. It's not so clear to every character in the world of One Piece as it is to us. But it becomes clear, I guess, with certain actions of the world government. And they give the ultimatum to burn down the old library, to burn down knowledge passed down by the past, or else they're gonna lose their future, their children. So Yaru makes the choice to go along with it. Okay, I'm willing to burn down the past for the future of Elbaf. And I'm willing to let all this knowledge go to waste, as long as we can save our future, which are the children. And I think that's a very clear messaging here. So that's something we had. We had Domi Reversi and Imu's powers. I've gone into great detail into Imu's powers in other videos discussing it already. And this is now getting kind of long. Looking back, me rambling, going on for way too long. Oh no, who could have guessed? But yeah, we had Domi Reversi, Imu's powers, the deep sea contract, the abyss circles, teleportation powers. How is it possible that the grocery went from Mary Shore to Egghead Island, that fast, that's by the abyss and the abyss circles. So someone went onto Egghead Island, drew up Abyss Circle, and just like that, boom, they could go there. And we also had Joy Boys Haki sending them back packing. So that is interesting. So they teleported via the Abyss Circle to Egghead Island. And them being hit by this powerful Conqueror's Haki sent them back to where they came from. So it's odd. So I thought like, okay, maybe we didn't know about the immortality powers that Emu gave at that point. And at that point I was like, okay, maybe it's not actual their real bodies traveling there. Maybe it's like some spectre of them just going there and they're not actually there. And that's why they can't be hurt. They're always coming back again. And then they're being sent back by the Haki. Okay, this is not the case. They do actually travel there. So why does the Haki send them back to Murray Shore then? Very interesting. It's like they still have this tether through the abyss where they entered into the abyss from, and then they exited it at Egghead. But this tether, it's like they're being flung back by a rubber band once they're hit by the Conqueror's Haki. I don't have an explanation for this. And I don't think I will until we see some more chapters in the next year. So, yeah, it has been Flashback Piece for a while now. And I think we still have at least 2 chapters of Flashback to go. If it's a long chapter, maybe we can do it in one. Like maybe we can wrap up in one chapter if it's a longer chapter, like 16 pages with a lot of text and a lot of explanation from Oda. He can do it. But maybe 2 chapters to wrap up Loki's story. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking for the next year. And then we go back to fighting Emu, Domireversi, Dory and Broggy, Domireversi Giants. We have to convert back. And Gunko, Killingham and Saint Summers. Who we gonna be fighting. And these guys are immortal, but we have Loki, a guy who already killed someone who was supposedly immortal. So there's at least one person here who knows how to do it. The next person would be Scopper, and he already told Luffy like to use Conqueror's Haki coating. But there might be a bit more to it, like maybe Conqueror's Haki coating plus enough damage straight up kills these persons. And the next part is getting rid of the Emu seal, the deep sea contract on the arms of those persons, because I really want to see what's up with Gunko's backstory and Brook. That is something that was hinted at this year. Gunko loves Brook's music, listens to Brook's music daily, and he has history with Brook. Brook is over 80 years old, I think, in the current story, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, he was part of like a royal guard of his country back in the day before he became a pirate. So he might have been at Mary Shore and met Gunko there. But it was like Gunko referred to Brook like as if he was her father, in a way. So that might be like not that mean that Brook is actually her father. Brook is not like necessarily a celestial dragon, although that would be interesting if she was. Yeah, so I wanna see more of Gunko, and maybe if we have like Luffy or Loki take out the mark on Gunko's arm and get rid of Emu, who's currently possessing Gunko, then maybe we can actually have Gunko think her own thoughts, not being controlled by Emu anymore. Maybe we get a story path with that. like freeing the ones of the God's Knights that are actually not wanting to be God's Knights anymore. There might be some that still like subservient emo and some that are not. So yeah, lots of things to come for the next year. But yeah, that's my rough look back over the year. And as I said, I still want to go and have a look at God Valley on its own. And I might also go have a look back at Egghead as an arc on its own and make videos out of those. So yeah, up until the next chapter comes out, there's a lot of time. So maybe that's what's coming next year. Anyway, hope you have a good new year. I'm gonna go back to biking and upload this. Yeah, well, a last drink. A last drink to another good year. Prost. And bye bye.